The most pernicious aspect of procrastination is that it can become a habit. We don't just put off our lives today, we put them off till our deathbed. Never forget, this very moment, we can change our lives. There never was a moment, and never will be, when we are without the power to alter our destiny. This second, we can turn the tables on resistance. This second, we can sit down and do our work. And when we sit down each day and do our work, power concentrates around us. We become like a magnetized rod that attracts iron feelings. Ideas come and insights accrete. This is probably one of my best quotes from a book ever, right? These two things are combined. So when we sit down to do our work, ideas come and insight accrete. And it's from The War of Art. Break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles. It's one of the best books I've ever read, and I've read it in a couple of books. And so that's why in this video, I genuinely just want to talk about books, right? Kind of like weird, but I just want to talk about books. I want to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite books right here, and why I'm very deliberate about reading, and why I'm very deliberate about learning, and how much it has impacted me generally. And I have a very, very special announcement at the end of this video. It's going to be awesome. Like, I'm literally launching an opportunity real soon that will be a gift to everyone who has ever watched a YouTube video of mine. If you want to get that gift, you have to watch this video to the end. It's not going to be the last thing that I say. It's going to be there somewhere in between. So best to watch it so you know when I share the announcement. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Itimi, a change maker, professional, and creative who is passionate about growing people and growing businesses. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and please always share my videos. It promises to always be impactful and insightful. There's a very popular saying, I don't know if it's an African thing, but it's, I hear it a lot, I heard it a lot when I was growing up. It says that readers are leaders, or leaders are readers. I think that's one of the first things that I learned early about reading. The fact that the more you read, the more you learn, and knowledge and the application of knowledge and wisdom enables you to be a better person to yourself and society, quote unquote, a leader, right? And so over time, I have developed a reading culture. Secondary school-ish, I used to read romance novels. I'm sure everybody can relate. M&Bs, Harlequins, everything, so much so that I was very fascinated with the fire, water, and air. That's the trilogy of witches. I think it was Nora Roberts that wrote the story like that. I read so many novels, and by the time it was time for work, my mom made me put all my novels into like To Ghana Must Go Back, if you know it, just so that I want to read that and I'll actually face my work. And then by the time I got into uni, I sort of like shifted from reading just romance novels to reading spiritual books and inspirational books. I think the very first inspirational book I bought was How to Get from Point A to Point B by Jack Canfield. I don't think it's here. I have lots of books that is like spread across all the different places I've ever lived. But that book was amazing, right? Because it just showed you about 31 different lessons about how to get from here, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And I kept stacking on books. I read spiritual books. I read Kenneth Hagin. I read a lot of Joseph Prince. I read. One of my favorite Christian books is Spirit, Soul, and Body. But here's the thing I found out, that it's not necessarily about stacking up numbers and say, oh, every year I read 36 books, or every month I read at least one book. It's actually in the things that you pick out, right? And how you begin to apply those things even as you grow. I see learning as seeds, right? That I could pick a learning, I can have a learning moment right here. It could be by watching a new video, it could be by listening to a podcast, it could be by reading a book, it could be by conversation, by experience. But those learning moments become seeds, right? And seeds sometimes take time to germinate, a couple of days, weeks, months, sometimes years, depending on the tree. But you will find that as you pick up things along the way, you will get to a situation 5 years down the line, and it's that seed that will be able to turn into the fruits that you need to attack that particular situation. Countless of times, I have remembered at the very moment when I needed something, a knowledge that I picked up by reading a book or by learning something like years before. But so while you can learn by different things, reading then becomes like a much deliberate attempt to plant your own special seeds, like seeds that you choose. Right? When I pick up a book, I'm picking up and saying, you know what, I want to learn exactly what is in here. I'm deliberately planting a particular seed, and I can do that across different genres. I can do that across different themes, right? So it's like I'm literally making a forest of very highly curated things that I'm very fascinated and interested about. And am I reading now and it doesn't make sense, but in 2 weeks, that thing I read will actually really just come alive and make sense, right? And so that's when I got that realization. I even then began to be much more deliberate about the kind of book I read, because I want to plant in me seeds that would help me attack a situation down the line in a year, 2 years, in 10 years, just because, I read something. And then the second learning moment for me about why I still read books is it's the results that you get from application. Knowledge is not in getting knowledge, right? Knowledge is in the application of knowledge. So it's not knowledge that's power, it's the application of it. I might know something, but if I never use it, then it becomes dormant. And so what that learning did for me was to say, you know what, it's not just about reading a book from beginning to the ending. It's about the primary knowledge or the primary wisdom or the primary lesson I want to learn and how I can then apply that. And so there's some books here that I have read and I have gotten what I needed from it, but I haven't finished it. And there's some that I have finished once, twice, 3 times. It's just really about what I want to get from every piece of content that I actually consume. Plus, reading helps you to learn new words. It helps you to see different places, see people's mind, experiences that are not yours. It helps you to relax. If you want to sleep, find a book that is not so interesting, and after a couple of pages, you actually sleep. I think generally there are a lot of lessons or lots of reasons why a reading culture is super important. But yeah, that's not really what I want to say in this video. I basically want to share some of my favorite books. Let's start with Think and Grow Rich. I have two copies of Think and Grow Rich. Got both of them because of one of my role models, Mfwan. So this is like an older version and this is sort of like a newer version. And as usual, I write a lot in my books. Like I'm trying to open a page for you guys. Like every single time I see something that makes sense, I take a pen and a paper. It's the reason why I hardly ever share books, because I don't want you to see what I was thinking about when I actually read a particular line. But here's one of my favorite things about this book, and it's literally on chapter 1, page 1. It says, truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things are that. When mixed with purpose, persistence, and a burning desire, you can actually achieve anything. This book, chapter 1, page 1, and every other chapter came together to form one of my fundamental principles in life right now, which is that to be the person you want to be or live the life you want to live, you need a mix of a burning desire, purpose, and persistence. These 3 things would recatalyze everything about you. You need a burning desire, right? Meaning that you need to know what you want. It means that you will need to know exactly what you want, and you have to want it a lot. There's a secret, again, that book is not here, that talks about the law of attraction and how when you keep something in your focus, the universe will literally conspire to give you that thing. So a burning desire is the desire that will keep you from going and going and going and going. But also purpose. If we don't see the why behind something, it's hard to desire it for the rest of your life. But then the most important element that I think Grow taught me about is persistence. That when it gets tough, you need to be able to have the strength to keep going and keep going and keep going, to break every form of resistance that you might actually have. And then there's yet again a couple of other books. There's Atomic Habits, there's The Lean Startup. So I'll tell you a quick story about The Lean Startup. Last year I was working at CURATED, right? And our CEO just basically decided that we're going to start like a book club, and the first book we read is The Lean Startup. So he gave everybody in the office a copy, and it taught me really about innovation, taught me about tracking, taught me about measurement, taught me about basically just ideating and not being afraid to pivot. Lean Startup is one of my favorite books, and at any point in time when I want to do an entrepreneurship journey for a bit, this is one of those books I'm probably going to read over and over again, like every quarter, and make everybody on my team read, especially when you work in a startup or you're building one. I think lean startup is just, you get the point, guys. Now, I have these 4 books, right? And I got these books recently, about 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, from Crash Books. So Crash Books is a bookseller on Instagram, right? In Enugu, but I like her books. I like the quality of her books. And so she sent these 4 books down for me. And I got it like within a day, talked about it today, and the next day it was here, and I went to go pick it up. There's the marketing magnet, right? Oh, sorry, magnetic marketing, that simply teaches you about how to pay, attract, and refer customers. I mean, this book is very important for me because obviously I'm a marketer, right? And it teaches you about how you can, what you need to do at every stage of the buyer's journey to be able to magnet your customers literally. So how can you attract your customers? How can you retain them? How can you get them to refer other people? Magnetic marketing has it. It's one of those books that's probably not very popular in the marketing sphere, but it has a lot of gems. And I think my favorite thing is how simple to understand this is. There's nothing complex about what's within here. But if you are very interested in digital marketing in general, and especially when you are doing like a consumer-based or D2C brand, then magnetic marketing is definitely something that you want to read. Like, I want to share gems from here with you guys, but I feel like if I start, I probably would not be able to stop. But you should get it, and yeah, Crash Book has it. Then there's Blue Ocean Strategy. I haven't read this yet, to be honest, but I have read a couple of times the concept of the blue ocean, right? So yes, I'm going to read it. Then there's Deep Work. If you guys remember a video I did about productivity, I spoke a lot about deep work. I'm going to add the video somewhere here, so you can actually just click on it, go watch the video and then come back. But I was talking about how to be a bit more productive, especially now that a lot of people are working remotely for the first time, or basically a lot of things are happening and they're still trying to stay very motivated. And one of the concepts that I shared in that video is deep work, the ability to fully concentrate, like focus concentration on something for a period of time, and then before you actually move on to do something else, right? And deep work talks about having to prioritize what you do, right? What is urgent and not important? What is important and not important and not urgent? And then how can I create an environment, an enabling environment for myself that would allow me to just focus on that? And it says find your peak performance time. If you work better in the morning and you do your prioritized list, and you say, okay, these 2 things are the most important thing and also the hardest for me, I'm going to do them at my peak time. I will immediately get up in the morning, brush, take breakfast, I would create my enabling environment, and I will do that deep work. It's called deep work because it requires you to actively think, and you focus on it for like 2 hours straight, and then you take a break, right? Do something random, open your emails, do Slack messages, do something that just requires muscle memory, and then go back again and do deep work. But not to do a consistent bout of deep work. So you can't do deep work for 4 hours. Like, your brain will be stressed and you won't get the best out of yourself. You can't do 2 hours and do it 4 times in a day. You won't get your best. So it's also being able to plan your time in a way that at the different hours when you need it, in hours of 2 to 3 hours, you concentrate on your most important and tasking task of the day, and then spend your other time taking small breaks and doing other things that you can do with muscle memory or that mundane tasks or routine tasks. Literally, right? When it comes to productivity generally, especially when you work remotely, deep work is my favorite concept. It's rules for focused success in a distracted world. It is. The point is, I think everybody should actually read deep work, and you can get it from Crash Books actually, and do as much as you want. Anyways, guys, so I've shared a couple of things and a couple of lessons I have learned from some of the books that I have right here, and I hope that watching this video sort of inspires you again to start seeking for content deliberately, seeking for knowledge deliberately. If you're not into books, start with an audiobook and listen to it while you're doing something else. Or read an article, read something on Medium, listen to a podcast. But even as you begin to, or read an ebook, not a hardcover book, but look for ways that you would deliberately build this culture of reading, of learning. I am particularly fond of hardcover books because I can write on them, I can underline them, I can touch them and smell them, and that really helps me learn better than when I watch or listen to audio content. So also find the best ways that you learn, but go after planting deliberate seeds, because at the end of the day, what will set you apart from everybody in your field is how much you know and how much you can apply, right? So gain knowledge, apply the knowledge that you gain, and stack it up in your favorite teams. So go in therefore and plant seeds that can help you attack problems in the future. Peace out.